Welcome to SENDiass4BCP's webinar on completing your parent, carer and child contributions. Today I'll be talking a little bit about SENDiass4BCP and our service, why your views are important and the law, completing your parent, carer and child contributions, the 4 broad areas of need, and where to access further support should you need it. We're first just going to hear a little bit from the team about our service.
SENDiass stands for Special Educational Needs and Disability Information, Advice and Support Service. And by law, every local authority should have a SENDiass service available for children, young people and their families in their local area.
We are a free, impartial, confidential and arm's-length service for children and young people up to the age of 25 with special educational needs and disabilities and their parent carers living in Bournemouth, Christchurch and Poole.
This means that although we are funded by the local authority, we operate separately from the services which have responsibility for making provisions for children, young people and their families.
Everything is kept confidential unless we believe someone to be at risk of harm. We provide information, advice and support with relations to education, social and healthcare matters,
including signposting to services, knowing your options and rights, as well as the responsibilities of schools, colleges and the local authority.
We provide support for things such as the EHCP process, preparing for meetings, resolving disagreements, support with exclusions and appeals to the SEND Tribunal.
Our aim is to promote independence and self-advocacy to enable children, young people and their parents and carers to engage in discussions and decisions about support and provision as fully as possible.
The law is very clear in that the local authority must have regard to both your views and that of your child. In summary, it states they must have particular regard to the views, wishes and feelings of both the child and parent, the importance of the child and parent participating as fully as possible in decision making, as well as being provided with information and support to enable this. They must also have regard to the need to support the child and parent in order to facilitate the development of the child and helping them to achieve the best possible outcomes. We're now going to watch a short film put together by the Victorian Department of Health, Australia. You'll hear from various professionals as they discuss why the views of a child are important in their line of work.
The voice of the child is paramount in the work that we do. It means that you are getting that child's truth.
It means capturing what a child's life experience is.
To listen to them and to support them when they are going through really difficult times.
Being there to hear what they're saying, to advocate for them.
The voice of the child is not an add-on, it's not a ticker box and it's not optional. It has to be everything about the way we practice.
I think it's important for children to have a say in their own lives so that they can become in control of their lives.
Children have an amazing insight into what they need and into what is right for them.
We make pretty big decisions with families and with kids about their everyday lives.
They have a right to be heard and have a say about what happens to them.
It sounds really simple, but I think we need to constantly check in and ask, do you feel like you've been heard? Is this what you think? Is this what you want?
Talk to them, listen to them in a way that's meaningful for them.
Building that relationship, building that rapport with them.
We can't expect to go out and talk to a child on the first time we meet them and have them tell us everything. It is about building that relationship and giving them that time and space to feel safe and comfortable.
When children are seen, heard and believed, they're involved in the decision making.
I think once you feel like you are believed, you're in control again of your own life.
It can be the start of a child beginning to understand that there can be trust in their relationships with adults.
For a child, being seen, heard and believed is about their rights being fulfilled. Just recently we went out and did a visit to a 3-year-old and talking to him about his rights and the right to be listened to. And he responded in his biggest, proudest voice, "I love my dad." And that's what's really important to him.
I think it's really important to consider everything that a child is saying in regards to the direction of their life.
I think it's the most important thing. I think we need to empower kids to talk to what they want and what they need.
When children are asked opinions, then they actually feel part of the decision making and they actually respond better.
Especially in relation to Aboriginal children, hearing what they have to say around their identity, their culture, their background. They often know way more than any of us do.
And making sure that we record their views, that we actually take that back and we record that on the child's file, that it becomes a part of their story, part of their life.
You may be given a form to complete for your child to express their views, or the school may obtain these views themselves. But it's important to remember that supporting children and young people to contribute in a way they find fun and engaging will empower them. Some children may prefer a straightforward conversation, and that's fine, but it's also okay to be creative. We can and should work in a way which best suits them, to enable their views to be part of the process. Also, your child's views do not need to be sought all at once. They can be sought over a period of time. The areas we could focus on include their aspirations and outcomes. What is it they're looking to achieve? What would they like to do? Any concerns or worries they may have, as well as what is working and what is not working for them. Remember that this does not have to be purely focused on their education. There are various ways we can do this. Some examples might include taking photos or videos. Use visioning, such as a magic carpet ride or dream island, where you can travel together and your child describes their dream and what makes them happy. Use drawings or collages to show their views visually, drawing their ideal classroom, for example. Or a hot air balloon, whereby they put things on the balloon to show things that make them happy and what they like, and the ropes represent things which are tying them down or holding them back from achieving those dreams or aspirations. A one-page profile is a simple summary of what's important to someone and how they want to be supported. It can record how they'd like people to help them, if and when they need care and support. Opinion lines would be where a child would show on a scale, for example, they really like an activity or do not like an activity. Much the same as rating or ranking, where you can use stars or emojis to rate how they feel about something. Use your own observations. What have you seen for yourself? What statements has your child made to you? So why do you think your views are important? Well, you are the expert on your child, and ultimately your child has the right for their voice being heard. There are 2 occasions where you'll be asked for your parental contribution. The first time being during an EHC Needs Assessment, the step before an EHC plan is agreed. After this, you'll be asked to complete your contribution prior to an annual review of the EHC plan. This will need to be circulated to all relevant people no less than 2 weeks before the annual review. There is no set format that your views have to be provided in, but the form offers a structured way to prompt you to consider various aspects of your child and their needs. The form will vary slightly depending on if your views are being requested as part of an EHC Needs Assessment or annual review. Views, wishes and feelings will be sought from both the parent as well as the child. Both are equally as important, as we now know, the local authority must have regard to them. Some things to consider whilst writing your parental contribution are that your child and young person has a right to see your contribution and any other information you share with the local authority. This information will also be sent to all professionals who will contribute to the assessment of your child or young person's needs and will help them understand what you would like for your child or young person. Generally, if the young person is 16 years or over, they will be asked for their consent to include your parent or carer views in any summary of assessment. Your contribution may be as short or as long as you wish, and you don't need to write paragraphs, and you may wish to use bullet points, lists, or to include a summary of main events to keep your contribution as clear and concise as possible. Relevant background information will be included on the form when issued to you as a part of an EHC Needs Assessment request. It will not be included on the form as part of an annual review. However, you could raise any additions that you would like to make during your review meeting. Here, you can give an overview of your child's history. This can include, but is not limited to, any complications during labour or early infant life if relevant to your child or person's needs now, any delays meeting developmental milestones, when your child or young person's special educational needs or disability were first identified, when, how and by whom. Include any relevant current information or reports, for example, letters from when any diagnosis was made. Details of professionals who have been involved in supporting your child, and a summary of their educational history. What are your child's strengths and talents? You may want to consider, what are they good at? Not just academically, they may have a hobby they're particularly good at. Think social and behavioural aspects too. You may consider them a good listener or a good friend. Describe those things your child is really interested in. For example, animals, a computer game, fossils, cars, trains, the things that spark their interest and engage them. Also, classes they attend outside of school and places they enjoy visiting. What's important to your child now and in the future? Have a think about, what do they enjoy doing? What do they find helpful? What's important to them? And do they have an ambition or something they'd like to work towards? If your child wants to either become an astronaut or a YouTube gamer, both of these and anything in between, they're all valid responses. What are your hopes for your child in the short and long term? Your hopes can be based around any areas of their life, not just education. Is there a hobby they would like to try, somewhere they would like to visit, or to have a friend? Think in the short term. What would you like to see them achieve or make progress with in the forthcoming year? And also in the longer term, what would you like to see them achieve or make progress with by the time they reach the next stage of their education, say in the next 2 to 3 years? What support is needed for your child to stay happy and safe to achieve? This can be help from education, health and social care. For example, does routine make them feel safe? Having a nurturing approach, or having space and time to regulate, or having a transitional object from home? Do they have therapies or support from others in their lives, be it a professional or a family member or a friend they look to for support? Consider what needs to change and how will it make a difference? What significant achievements has your child made? Which areas has your child or young person made progress with? And have they achieved anything which demonstrates progress being made? For example, they may be able to do something which they couldn't do before. Are they asking for help with tasks when previously they did not have the confidence to do so? Are they able to recognise their feelings and emotions, or able to play a turn-taking game? Have they made progress in or begun a new hobby, or are they beginning to read for pleasure? Again, the answers do not have to be solely based on education or in school. The last section of the form asks you to comment on what you feel is going well, not well, and any possible improvements. It prompts you to look at the following areas: education, health, home life and care, and friendships, relationships, and behaviour. In summary, the 4 broad areas of need are communication and interaction. For example, do they have any speech or language delays? Do they understand social cues or social rules of communication? Or do they use any aids to support their communication? Cognition and learning. Are they meeting age-related expectations? Or do they have difficulties acquiring new concepts? Have they been assessed for any learning difficulties such as dyslexia, dyscalculia, or developmental coordination disorder? Or they may have a poor working memory. Social, emotional, and mental health difficulties. Do they display frustration or anger or need support managing feelings and emotions? Do they have low self-esteem or difficulty trusting others and building attachment? Sensory and/or physical needs. So your child may have a hearing or a vision impairment. Do they have any physical needs? It may be they have difficulty with their fine motor skills, for example, pencil skills or using scissors or cutlery or handwriting. Or they may be over or undersensitive to certain sensory activities, such as do they feel the need to bite? Are they sensitive to temperatures or to smells or tastes of food? Do they have a sensitivity to touch? Or do they seek receptive feedback, such as going on swings or pushing or climbing? There are 2 other areas of need which may or may not be relevant to your child, as they're not focused on your child's education, unlike the 4 broad areas of need. They are health needs and social care needs. So let's take a closer look. Health needs could include any specialist support and therapies, such as occupational therapy or physiotherapy, any nursing support, medical treatments, delivery of medications, any specialist equipment such as wheelchairs, continence supplies, or regular therapeutic help through CAMS. For social care needs, you may want to consider if there's been any or if you require any other assessments, such as an early help assessment, a child in need, adult care, or safeguarding. Does your child require any practical assistance in the home? Any assistance in travelling to facilities? Any adaptations to the home? Or facilitating the taking of holidays? Do they require the provision of meals at home or elsewhere? Or are they entitled to any non-residential short breaks? So that's all for completing your parental contribution, but what do we do with it now? Well, it depends on the reason why you've completed your contribution. If you've completed it for an EHC Needs Assessment, you'll either need to email or post it to your assigned caseworker and the EHC Needs Assessment team. You can do this by emailing ehcna@bcpcouncil.gov.uk. If you've completed it in preparation for an annual review, then you'll need to return this to the school or college, usually the SENCO. If you require any further support of completing your child or parental contributions, you can visit our website at SENDiass4BCP.org, where you will find lots of free resources to support you. You can email us at help@SENDiass4BCP.org, or you can contact our advice line, open Monday to Thursday, 9:30 till 12:30.